The World Cup is 6 weeks away, 42 days to be exact. Provisional squads drop in 10 days. And right now, we're in the wait. That strange electric window that comes before the World Cup finally drops. We are heavy on the anticipation. So today, we're not analysing, we're not predicting. We're just going to talk about what this time of year feels like and all the rituals that tell you that the World Cup is coming. Yes, listeners, welcome back to Red, White and Roo. The World Cup is fast approaching and we're here to cover every bit of it. Harry, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Mate, I'm amped up. I'm amped up and ready to talk all about the anticipation of the World Cup and all the great rituals that come with the World Cup. It's also that time of year where the signs start to come thick and fast, where you start to hear things about the World Cup approaching and the preparations, the final preparations like provisional squads, final squads start to come. What's the sign for you, Harry, that signals that the World Cup is just about arriving?
For me, it's definitely when you hear like, oh, Kylian Mbappe will miss the World Cup with a hamstring injury. And you're like, a hamstring injury? Well, it's going to take him 3 months to get it's 42 days away. Oh,
yeah.
It's always a bit like you start to hear more and more injuries. And as the World Cup approaches, the injuries get more minor. There's no longer an ACL. Oh, he's going to miss it. It's now, he's got a calf strain. He's in doubt for the World Cup. And you start to get sprinkles of the Socceroos on national TV news coverage, and it's like, it's not far away.
Oh, exactly. And I even think of, Xavi Simons does his ACL. It's like he's going to miss the World Cup. Obviously, I thought that was interesting reporting. But you see things like, I think it's the soft tissue ones that you spoke about, like Esteval from Chelsea. He had a soft tissue, bad hammy, like a grade 3 hammy, where it's basically torn off the bone. It's like, and he's racing to be fit for the World Cup. It's like, bro, that's a 12-week injury. You are not being close to that at all. And it's also, Harry, piggybacking off your point there, it's where the heartbreak stories come. Like I touched on Xavi Simons before. Like he's someone that he fits that ilk of someone that could light up the tournament, and go on a run and play in that number 10 role and really take the Netherlands deep. And so for him to be missing, it's heartbreaking. And it's the time of year where for the Socceroos players, you are just sitting there, crossing everything, going, do not get hurt. Do not
Harry
get
Suter,
hurt.
Leicester are down, mate. You're okay. Just keep playing like little calm 45-minute game, like gain some fitness, just slowly do a bit. And then you're like, Toure, Irankunda, you are not playing a minute.
Yeah. Boys, knowing, it's actually, Harry, that reminds me. It's I was watching a video during the week of the original Ronaldo talking about his 1998 where he had a seizure or something happened to him on the day of the game. I think they said it was a seizure. And then they obviously 4 years later, Brazil go on to win the World Cup. And he scores the opening goal of the World Cup final in 2002. Rivaldo has a shot on his left foot. And Rivaldo was known for shooting and he would never pass. So Ronaldo talks about how as soon as Rivaldo had the ball, he just ran straight towards the goalkeeper because he wants to be there and be ready for the rebound. But obviously, he ends up, Oliver Kahn spills it and Ronaldo puts it in the back of the net. But he runs over to Felipe Scolari, the Brazil coach, and he's giving him a mouthful because Scolari in training banned Ronaldo from going in for rebounds because he was worried that he was going to get hurt. And he was basically going like, you didn't let me train for this. You didn't let me train for this. That's striker's instinct. And obviously Ronaldo scores again and they win 2-0. He has his moment. I hope that the Norwich managers got Mo Toure on that same sort of training schedule of no rebounds for Mo, only in games. But yeah, we're very much definitely hoping that the Socceroos and for the wider football public that as many people that are going to be playing in this World Cup can stay fit. Harry, is there a moment in the last few weeks where it's clicked for you that the World Cup is genuinely coming? Like, I know we've been sitting here talking about it, and so it's a bit different for us, but if you could relay it to maybe a general football fan or the things that pick up in the rhythm of national football, is there anything that's come across your desk or on your radar on that?
I think it's. I think we saw this a bit with the last international break, which I don't think we've got any more international breaks. The closer you get to the World Cup, it's not like it's an international break. You're sort of like, oh, let's watch and see what we could see for the World Cup. Like, it's no longer why the heck is there another international break? You start to like kind of look forward to it to see how your team's going to play.
Absolutely. And I think you look at, that's a great way of actually looking at it, because previously, same as you with the international break, you'd be like, oh, no, the Premier League or whatever league you follow, it was just starting to get really good. And I was just starting to really sink my teeth in it. And I was looking forward to watching the Premier League every week or whatever league you follow. And then international break would roll around and you'd be like, oh. But I had been looking forward to that last international break for so long, because it was like the Socceroos are at home. We're going to see these guys. We're going to see them in the flesh. And it's like their World Cup departure, which is really, really exciting. Which it was nice to look forward to the international window, and I know there are people that probably always look forward to the international window.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Nate Marcus Speller from the Football Ramble, he's a big one. He lives for the international break.
I think he's joking with what he says.
I think he actually loves it that much.
Yeah.
But moving forward from that, Harry, we're 42 days away, so we're 6 weeks away exactly, actually. Because the World Cup in Australia will start on a Friday. So what are you most looking forward to about the next 6 weeks? Is there anything on your calendar that as we get towards the World Cup, those 42 days, is there anything that's really exciting you about those?
Well, definitely provisional squads. That's a big one. You kind of feel like the tournament's like almost started once you get them. And like you then have a week of talking about the big misses, then the actual squads come out, and then it's like, oh, the World Cup's 2 weeks away. It all starts to happen really quickly, and like all the leagues start wrapping up. You start to hear about your champions. You hear about PSG. You hear about Bayern. You hear about what like Barcelona will happen. You've got the title race wrapping up in the Premier League. Like usually like, oh, it's the off season. This year it's like, as a City fan, I'm still invested in the title race, but I'm kind of like, can we just get to the World Cup?
Yeah, it is a bit like that. I feel like the time when it's kind of like the shackles are off. It's like, come on, the World Cup's here. The World Cup's here. I'm now ready. It's always from the moment the Champions League final ends. From when the moment the Champions League final ends, it's where it's like, okay, boys, okay, the next major game of football in the world of football that's going to be played is going to be the World Cup opening match. And I think the gap between the two of them is only, so the Champions League final we're going to go by Australian dates because we're Australian. So the Champions League final will be the morning of May, I reckon it's May 31st. Yeah, the morning of May 31st, and then the first game is on the 12th. So it's a bit under 2 weeks. However, Harry, the things we've got to look forward to is on May 30th, Australian time, the Socceroos will play a warm-up match against Mexico. And so that's going to be a lovely little thing on our calendar that I'm definitely looking forward to. Like you said, provisional squads, they're a big thing, but also the friendlies or the games they play in between the provisional squads and the final squads coming out are also really important. That Mexico game on the 30th is going to be the last opportunity for guys to push their case before final squads then have to be in of all nations on the 1st of June. So some squads will name their squads a little bit. Some nations will name their squads a little bit early, but that's the deadline on the 1st, and the same with the provisional World Cup squads on the 11th of May. So that's 10 days away from now. And that's where the debates really begin, isn't it? That those provisional World Cup squads, it's where you start to see the breakdowns of, which way are they going to build? What are they going to do? Who's going to come out? Like how many of certain positions are we going to carry? And I mean, you just pour over the speculation, and I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah, yeah, that's when you start hearing about, there's a little bit of an injury cloud around Trent Alexander-Arnold. Does that mean they're going to go with Livramento to cover him up a bit, but still run the risk of maybe only getting him later on in the tournament? It's all like...
I'm very interested, Harry, to see in that World Cup squad for Australia, the Provisional World Cup squad, are we going to see the likes of a Matthew Leckie and a Mitchell Duke? Will we see them named? Matt Leckie came back from a pretty serious injury in the A-League only a few weeks ago, and Mitchell Duke's obviously also been playing. So time will tell. Time will tell. Will we see two passionate heroes from Qatar be back around the group? It'll be interesting to see.
I think pending injuries, I think Mo Toure's nailed down his spot.
Yeah, I agree.
I just don't see, like, that goal against, don't know who it was against, but like...
Was that the one where he rocketed?
Yeah, it was the one after he missed the pen, and he just looked so angry. He just smacked it home. You're like, since when has an Australian been able to do that? Since Timmy.
Mate, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, listeners of this show will need no opportunity for you and I to talk about Mo Toure and Irankunda. We are massive fans. Harry, moving on to, we're going to talk about World Cup rituals and things around the World Cup that come into people's lives for this period of time. And I was stewing over this week, what do I think the best rituals are? And I'm going to start with the wall chart. The World Cup wall chart. You'd get it in the paper. You'd maybe print it out when you get it from a website, or, you remember back in the day at school where you'd have the Scholastic book fair magazines?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my first World Cup wall chart came out of one of them from 2006, and it was unique because it had these little slots in it where you had everyone's jersey from the 32 teams, and so you would move the jersey up through the calendar as they would finish. And Dad and I would have it up from 2006, and I was 8 at the time. And, we'd wake up every morning and Dad would have his laptop there, his work laptop, that'd be running dial up, and he'd have the football scores up, or he'd have them written down, and we'd update it and move the jersey along of whoever's gone through it. It's one of those things where, as a kid, you'd put it up on the wall, and it felt like you were a part of it. It felt like you were living the World Cup as well as everyone else, and you were really so immersed in it. We were so immersed in it that we had it in our lounge room. We stuck it on the wall with blue tape in our lounge room, and Mum was filthy, but it didn't matter.
She would have been filthy.
It didn't matter because Dad and we had a full case of World Cup fever. So that's something for me where that's been a ritual that's been really special to me. I didn't do it in 2022. 2018, I was in America. 2014, I didn't do it. And 2010, I think I did it. Yes, I did do it.
Yeah, this year, 2014, you were too cool, mate. Too cool,
probably
mate.
Was. I'm just 16 year old.
Yeah, I'm just a wall chart, Dad. No, you're weird.
And, well, guys, I'm not too cool for it now. As a 28-year-old father of one, I'll be running one. Running a World Cup wall chart, listeners, and we have exactly where you can get yours. If you go to, on Google, you go to 442's website and search 442 World Cup wall chart. They have one that is in every time zone possible. So you select yours. You can get it printed out in whatever size. I'm doing it in the biggest possible size I can. So I think I'm doing it in like a A0 or a B1 or whatever's the biggest, and it is going up on my wall. We're going to make some Instagram content around the wall, the chart going up on the wall. Harry's going to do the same. We're going to get him one as well. And listeners, I strongly encourage you to get involved in the World Cup wall chart. Harry, is this your first wall chart?
Yes, it is my first wall chart.
Listeners, you're on for an absolute ride. Young Harry Patrick Town. He's going to be joining the wall chart community.
I think I'll struggle to get Dad as invested as he was in your wall charts.
Mate, you never know. Never know.
I know.
You never know. I mean, one thing I will say, listeners, is if this resonates with you, the World Cup wall chart, comment on the show your experiences, comment on the YouTube your experiences, because honestly, I think it is one of the most beautiful things you can do at the World Cup, especially for us in Australia, where we've always been so far away from the tournament that it just felt like a ritual. Like every morning you'd wake up and you'd update it. And, mate, I've spoken to some people that still have their wall charts. They kept them. And I think that is passionate. That is real passionate. The World Cup doesn't go anywhere, and you keep it a part of it. I think, Harry, one of the other rituals, and I'd be interested to know if you have any, but this one is like going through like a World Cup predictor, and you would do your World Cup predictions.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that as part of this, as part of this World Cup. But you'd go through, and you'd always go through and go, how could the Socceroos get to the final? And you'd be there like in World Cups gone by of like Australia versus France. 1-0 Australia. Because you're never going to be like,
Now, if Serbia beats Spain in the round of 16, and then we beat Serbia, and then if Latvia go through second in their group and knock out Portugal and then beat Spain, we'd verse them in the semi, and then do you reckon we can beat Latvia? And then you've got Ghana. Ghana go on a generational run, go to the World Cup final. Australia versus Ghana, World Cup final. Australia go in favourite and win.
Yeah. And you just be there going like, there's not a chance. But I like to believe that there's a chance. And I think that's the beauty of sport, to be honest. So that's another one of mine, Harry, doing the predictions. Was there any of your World Cup rituals that you can think of?
For me, it's just like waking up, making a hot chocolate, the fire's on, and I'm just there nestled up in a blanket. Just in winters, just getting warm under a blanket at stupid hours in the morning, just going like, yeah, there is nothing better.
Oh, mate, big time. And you're always like, huddled on the couch with a blanket and you're just like freezing, and you might be watching some game where you're like struggling to keep your eyes open, and you're just like,
my
gosh.
That will be happening.
Well, Harry, the thing is that actually might not be happening, because the game times for this World Cup for an Australian are unbelievable. And so we live in Brisbane. I live in Brisbane, but we both live in Queensland.
Derby.
Harry and we are Australian Eastern Standard Time, right? So if I'm just looking up, we're going to pull up a random World Cup game, a random World Cup day here, and we'll go a weekend. Saturday, the 20th of June. There's kickoff at 5 a.m. That is the United States versus Australia. Now, Harry and I are going to vlog our experience and put up a YouTube video of us going and watching it at King George Square in Brisbane. But after that, you've got Scotland and Morocco at 8 o'clock, Brazil versus Haiti at 10:30, and then you've got Turkey versus Paraguay at 1 o'clock. Any other World Cup, it's been like all through the middle of the night. So the fact that all of these games are during the day, like you best believe on Thursday, the 18th of June, I'm going to sit down and be watching Uzbekistan versus Colombia at 12 o'clock. Like, I'm just going to watch that.
Yeah.
Just the same way on Tuesday, the 16th of June, I'm going to sit them down at 11 a.m. and I'm going to watch Iran versus New Zealand. But the point is, listeners, is it's going to be at a very watchable time for Australian listeners. And so this is going to be a World Cup where you're going to really want to immerse yourself in it, because you're going to be able to watch a lot of it, which is really, really exciting. Listeners, remember, you can get your wall chart from the 442 website. We are by no means affiliated with them. It's just the most accessible, and it's got the most time zones for you to select from. One thing I've also done, Harry, and I'm not sure, and I'd strongly encourage you to do this, I have actually synced the World Cup calendar to my calendar on my iCloud.
How can you do that?
You can go onto heaps of different websites. Just search FIFA World Cup calendar, and you can go and get them, and you'll have every single game on there. Now, Harry, a World Cup ritual that is near and dear to our heart, that will look different this year, is the World Cup video game. Heaps of memories gone by for me, it really signified that the tournament was here. You would log on to FIFA 23, FIFA 18, FIFA 14, and before that, you'd have the World Cup game of 2010 when it was in South Africa, or 2006. But listeners to the show older than that wrote the 2002 one. And the thing that always stood out to me is you'd have the scoreboard graphics that looked the same as on TV. You'd have the atmosphere that was the same as on TV. You would have the same kits as are on TV. So the latest World Cup kits would be being worn. You would have World Cup music in there. And it would just, I can't describe. People that have played them will know, but it felt different. It felt like
Yeah.
it was here. It felt like it was the fabric of the World Cup was weaved through a digital footballing experience that so many people really loved and delved into. I can still remember the last two World Cups, last three World Cups if you include 2014. I can remember like being so excited for the announcement of the World Cup mode to drop, and you'd be like, I'm going to try and win the World Cup with Australia. Or I'm going to, or you'd throw yourself into the ultimate team game mode because it was like end of the game and it was fun and it was related to what was going on and there'd be live cards happening. And it actually would help you immerse yourself in the experience.
I found it really like it really gets you into the tournament. Like you know the players' names, you know the like you follow it because like it updates basically an hour after the final whistle of each game, and like you can play the next game. Like you can play your knockout stage, you can play your quarterfinals, you can play your semifinals. Like I loved it, and I haven't really seen anything of what it's going to be this year.
Well, we haven't got any news, and that's something that I think is really unfortunate. But we were talking before about things you knew the World Cup was here. For me, it was that.
Yeah.
For me, I always knew the World Cup was here because EA would drop the announcement trailer. There's the Ronaldo one from FIFA 18. And I can remember before we went to America, I played so much of that. And I just love that digital fan experience. And it was the same in 2014. I booted up South Africa 2010 the other day on my PS3 because I wanted to just see what it was like. And I think it just had it just had this real like World Cup is here moment, and it felt tangible, like it felt real, like the fabric of the World Cup and the graphics and everything was on par with the official branding and all of that. And the concern here is that EA and FIFA ended their partnership it was announced in 2022, and then obviously the 2020 FIFA 23 covered the World Cup when it was in Qatar, and then they then have gone on their own, and they're now FC, and they've still got the UEFA mode, the UEFA sponsorship, which meant that when the Euros rolled around 2 years ago, we got that same UEFA Euro official fan experience, and
yeah,
we're not going to get that this time by the looks of it, and I think that's a real shame.
Yeah, you'd always watch a day of World Cup and then you'd boot up Ultimate Team, you'd play your Div Rivals games, but no one's going to be doing that. Like FIFA, like FC will do something, but like it's not going to be FIFA.
So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people will look at the Ultimate Team side of it, which is obviously also a part of it. It's a massive part of the football and gaming landscape. But even just the official mode where you could take Australia through the World Cup and it had the squad or the provision. I think they had the provisional squads. But the point is that it replicated what was actually happening. And everyone had their official kits and every team was in the game. Like in FC 24, 25, and 26, the Socceroos aren't even in the game. You can't play as the Socceroos. So the most recent game the Socceroos are in is FIFA 23, which obviously has had servers cut off now. And I know people will sit here and they'll go, well, EA have shown before that they don't need the official branding for it to be something, which is true. But the last time that was the case was a good example of that was the 2016 Euros, where it was called the Festival of Football, FUTBALL. But the footballing gaming landscape is very different to 10 years ago. Like it's massive.
Yeah.
And I think the World Cup game modes have been a real gateway of getting young people into the World Cup scene and getting them more interested in it. Now, I know it's a massive footballing tournament. It's one of the biggest sporting events in the world. However, that still played a massive role in drawing in that audience. But not only that, giving that audience an immersive football digital experience.
Yeah. I think that's like a really big thing is there's a lot of people who like play FIFA and they like play FC, but like play FIFA to play FIFA. But there's like, as you say, there's a lot of casuals that roll around every 4 years, and they're not going to go like, oh, FC, that's going to have a really good World Cup game mode because you have to pay to play. Like it doesn't have the FIFA name anymore. It doesn't have the FIFA World Cup branding everywhere where you're like, oh, if I want to play the World Cup, I buy this game. It's like, oh, FC. That doesn't have the word FIFA in it. Well, I'm not spending $80 on that because like people aren't to know that that's where you play your World Cup mode. And it's just not really going to be there.
Well, that's the other thing. There's nothing that fills the gap. It doesn't exist. And I think if EA Sports are sitting here and going, well, our Ultimate Team content will fill the gap, I don't think it will. I don't think that's the reason why people were excited for the World Cup mode. I think it was the things, the kits, the balls, the stadiums, the graphics, those things that are football fans are so observant, and football fans know how something feels, and they know how something should feel. And I think also not many people that are part of the footballing landscape, unless you're a hardcore FC fan, I don't think there's many people that realize that this thing is not coming. This game mode is not coming. And like, yeah, there might be like EA will do something around it, but it's never going to be a replacement. And I, for a while, was kind of hoping that they would do like a short-term deal, because I felt like both FIFA and EA might have looked at it and gone, this thing's too big not to capture this market. But there hasn't been any tangible rumors. And we're getting up to the point where it's getting closer to where something needs to be announced. Obviously, now is the 1st of May. There hasn't been anything. So it's going to be really interesting. And I think a lot of people are going to be really disappointed by the lack of immersive gaming experience. And it's really disappointing because a lot of fans are going to miss out.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of the FIFA games, me and you sometime, probably next weekend, we'll be playing an aggregate football series going through all the games. And you'll get that content sprinkled through every week up until the World Cup starts. So I look forward to that. That should be fun. You're a way better FIFA player than me, but
we haven't played, Harry. So
what we're
going to do
December.
So what we're going to do in preparation for the World Cup is I'm a bit of a football nerd. I own the World Cup game modes from all of the last World Cups. Harry and I are going to boot up the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, and we're going to do a little series of us playing games against each other as Australia versus each other from each of those. So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure where that's going to drop. We'll probably do some short content as well as some stuff that'll go out on the YouTube. But yeah, keep an eye out for that, because it's going to be really exciting. And as I'm sure you can tell, Harry and I love football and gaming. Harry, before we move on, do you have a favorite World Cup gaming memory or something that sticks with you?
Yeah, it was the 2010 game. And I remember being like on the PS3, and I'd put 2 controllers on, and I'd just like score goals off the goal kick. I'd like think I was really good, and I'd just like pass the ball to the guy and then shoot. I don't know how I found it entertaining, but that used to entertain me for hours on end. Me and Angus used to verse each other. I remember that. Like I loved it. It was that 2010 game mode, or maybe it was 2014, but I'm pretty sure it was
I owned both of them, so it wouldn't surprise me if you guys dabbled in each one.
I definitely remember 2010 on the PS3, just loving it.
Also, I mean, we've spoken about this a little bit. 2010 World Cup was so iconic. It had a sound, it had a look, it had a feel. We talked about it last time. The vuvuzelas in the crowd, like they put that in the game. Like you can't replicate that. Like that's a genuine fan experience, and it's representative of what the games were when they were in South Africa. I definitely don't have a specific one, Harry. I've always just loved the ritual of enjoying the game that comes out, jumping in the menus, feeling the experience, hearing the official theme songs, and being a part of it. And I'm so disappointed that this year we're not going to get that. But we'd also love to hear yours and your World Cup gaming memories. My first gaming memory, actually, Harry, I had 2006 Road to the World Cup EA Sports Game Boy Advance game on my Game Boy. and I played the crap out of that game. You could start
The
your
Game Boy is good.
you could start your qualifying and then go to the World Cup. So I'd be qualifying as Australia and I'd be playing like American Samoa because we were in Oceania for that World Cup to qualify. And it was unbelievable. It was so much fun. And like I would fiddle around with the team and excellent. Absolutely excellent. Harry, we're going to move on now to what we're most excited about in regards to the World Cup. So the things that you're the most excited about, players we're excited to see, and really like drum up and talk about the anticipation. I'm the first point I'd like us to discuss is there a Socceroos group game you're the most excited for?
I think US. Yeah, I definitely think US because it's the one that we like. It's kind of a free hit. There's like no one outside of like Australian fans. Like no European fans think we're going to win, so it's kind of a free hit. And I think we could really surprise some people because we can definitely beat them. And that's our hardest group game. And if we lose, we lose. But it's got a heap of upside and not really any downside.
Well, it's not only that, Harry. The US have written us off.
Mate, that some of their media coverage shows how little they know.
Did they call us walkovers?
It was something like this is our best case scenario. Dream scenario. In Australia, they're saying the exact same thing.
Former MLS player and CBS pundit described Australia's matchup as a layup. Landon Donovan jokingly said, "Thanks for coming. Get back on the Qantas aeroplane and head back home."
And it's just like,
you guys have no idea what's coming.
We were thinking the exact same thing. Like, I mean, I get we're probably like we kind of it's best case for both of us. We kind of got the worst teams possible on paper.
Well, I just for me, I mean, great explanation. I think the USA is a great shout. For me, I'm probably most excited for the Turkey game because it's on a Sunday afternoon in Australia at 2:00, and we're going to drum up a big group to go down to King George Square and we're going to vlog the whole thing, and just that whole feeling of like it being at a time that's really easy for the Australian to watch. I just feel like it's going to be a massive occasion. Like it's going to be huge. Like,
is that our first?
It's the first one. Yeah. And I just feel like the thing I'm most scared about that game is I just want us to start well. I don't want us to concede 2 dumb goals and be 2-0 down, and then you get one back and you get yourself back in the game and you go, oh, we just couldn't recover from a bad start. That's what I'm like most excited for I hope we give ourselves a chance. But I mean, they're all exciting. Like they're all going to be like unbelievable, like memories, and ones that I'm so excited for. The next one, Harry, is there a player that you want to see on the biggest stage? This can be Socceroos related or any other player.
For me, there's like only one answer, and it's Irankunda.
Yeah,
because he hasn't played a major tournament for the Socceroos. And the public know him, but they don't really know him.
They don't know him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't know how deadly and how much flair he has. And, people that don't watch much football, they're attracted to the guys that are exciting.
And he's just like, he's everything exciting. The most exciting player, Socceroos player to like watch. He's like a Neymar. Like he's like a Jeremy Doku. You go like they get the ball and it's like I don't think he knows where he's going. So I'm gonna watch closely to see what happens. And it's something that like the Socceroos have missed is someone that's like fast and fiery that like is going to take it on, not just going to sit back on a counter attack. He's going to he's going to worry opposition defenders, which we haven't had that for a while.
No, he's capable of putting people into a spin cycle. I think the thing with Irankunda is you've got to think about what type of player is going to get someone who appreciates football or follows the World Cup every 4 years, what's going to get them excited? And Irankunda and Mo Toure and Jordan Boss, mainly the first two, they are going to get people up and about. Like, they're going to be like, who's this bloke? I love that guy. And it's that stuff that, it brings in excitement into the game. Like, people that love football can appreciate a Chicardi. They can appreciate a Matty Ryan. Matty Ryan, a bit more of a household name. But the things that make them good, it's a bit harder for someone who isn't a football fan to see it. Whereas, like, someone can see someone taking guys on, moving really fast, doing skills, the way that he moves. You can just tell by his athleticism. And I mean, he scores goals and celebrates with a Michael Jackson glove. Like, what is there possibly not to love? Similar to your ilk, Harry, mine is Mo Toure. I just feel like he's ready. And I know people will say, "Oh, he's not doing it in a Big Five league or whatever." It's like, yeah, but this is a guy that moved from another European league, not a major European league, to England's second division.
Yeah.
And hit the ground running. He then also picked up an injury and then came back and hit the ground running again. Like,
it's like it's England we're talking about. It's the England second division. It's no Turkey second division. Like, it's a big league. It'd be in top 7, 8 leagues in the world. Like, the quality's there, and I feel like a big thing for him is
who's in front of him. He can only score against the people he's playing against. Like,
and
he keeps scoring in the championship. You're gonna get your big move. Irankunda, same deal. You're gonna get your big move. Like, if those two light it up at the World Cup, who knows where they could be?
I don't want him to get signed by a big club and just bench ride. I want him to go to a Sunderland.
Brentford.
Oh, Brentford. Oh, can an Australian go to Brentford and just become the best player in the world? Like, when is it our go to have a young kid go to Brentford?
Harry, I'm seeing it now. Igor Thiago gets signed by Chelsea for 100 million. And Mo Toure comes into Brentford and scores bags of goals.
Is Mo Toure, has he got a receding hairline too?
I don't think so.
No, Brentford won't sign him. He needs to be like bald and like receding hairline. You go, that 28-year-old striker from Brentford. Oh no, he's 22. Oh,
yeah, a bit like
Chelsea.
Damsgaard's the best example.
Mbuemo.
Yeah.
Wissa.
Is there a moment that you're dreaming about? So when you're sitting there thinking of the World Cup, is there something you're dreaming about? For me, it's us scoring first at a game and we're at King George Square watching and the whole place goes wild.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's probably like the hopping on the train to go to King George Square, or like on the walk from like a train station towards King George Square, and there's just crowds of people as excited as we are, just like getting passionate.
And like, it's that feeling of getting like, you're coming down to King George Square in Brizzy and you're hearing the atmosphere and you're hearing the field. And then I imagine like you come around the corner and it's just like, I have this like feeling, I have this like vivid vision of like walking around the corner and then there's just this massive flare going off. And just chaos party time. And I think also it'd be great for Australia as a nation. Like, I feel like the wider Australian public is so doom and gloom at the moment, and we are just cherry ripe for the Socceroos to just sweep the nation and to unite people and to get people together that wouldn't normally be together and celebrating and watching something together and celebrating our wonderful country together. Like, that just it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Like, it's just I just really hope the Socceroos give us some moments to celebrate, because I've even spoken to a few guys during the week that went to King George Square for the Argentina game, and they all said the same thing. They said, "Look, mate, great idea. You got to go. It's unbelievable." Yeah. Sending me videos and stuff of them, and just the way it unites everyone together. I think you and I are both very much on the same page. I've well and truly been dreaming about that. Is there, on the other side of that, Harry, is there something that we're a bit more doom and gloom? Is there something we're dreading? Are we dreading anything?
I just don't want to be disappointed by the Socceroos in the group stage. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't want to go and we score 2 goals for the group stage and they're both penalties. You want to win a game. You want to win a game and have a somewhat chance of going through in third. Like,
Yeah.
You want to have something to get excited about. And I don't want, like, it is only 4 years. I don't want to have no positive memories and then go, oh, well, all eyes on 2030. Oh, yeah, 2030. That's what I'm doom and gloom about, because I know the Socceroos can have like nil draws in us, and it's just like, no, don't do it to us, please.
I think what you're describing is you want to walk away with a feeling. Like, you want to walk away with a feeling and something you can look back on and go, oh my God, that was amazing. Like, I will always remember. I'll always remember when Irankunda skinned 3 blokes and scored, and we beat Paraguay, or we came from behind to beat the US. And I was in King George Square and it was freezing cold, and you want that story that makes you feel something. I think for me, the thing I'm dreading, and I just hope it doesn't happen, is just that we can see dumb defensive error goals. The goal we conceded against Argentina in the round of 16 game, where Matt Ryan makes that mistake and they score, and you just look at the way that game played out and you go, oh, imagine if we weren't chasing that goal to tie to make it 2-2. Imagine if we were chasing a winner, or you just go, there's those, I don't want to walk away with these what if moments. I want us to put our best forward.
But I think there always will be what if moments. Like, it's,
I guess there always be what if moments.
There always will be.
Just not to that level. Like, not to that dumb level where you're like, just boot it upfield, Matthew. Just give it some.
Or just like the what if Emi Martinez didn't. Oh no, I'm going down a rabbit hole. You've got me started on that. No, mate. I'm just thinking about future what if moments. Like, what if Irankunda just scored 10 goals, we won the World Cup, and he won the Golden Ball? Like, what if Mo Toure is the first person to win the Ballon d'Or from the championship because he scored a hat-trick every game of the World Cup? Like,
if only. Harry, I feel like we've answered that one really well. The last one for this part of the show. One thing from outside the Socceroos that you're excited about?
Just another major tournament that you've got South American teams against European teams. Like, the Euros are great. Copa America's like not as good as the Euros, but there's like the knockouts are good. Just to like have a chance of Brazil, Portugal, Brazil, Spain, Argentina, Portugal. Like, can you imagine Messi, Ronaldo versus each other in their last World Cups? Like,
yeah,
they meet in the quarterfinals, and it's like, this is the biggest event.
Oh, mate, massively. My thing I'm the most looking for, I'm looking forward to the most, is seeing the reaction from the fans of nations that have been there for the first time ever, or it's been their first time back. So this year we'll have 4 teams that are at the World Cup for their first time. They are Cape Verde, Curacao, Jordan, and Uzbekistan. And then you've got Scotland being back for the first time since 1998. You've then also got the Democratic Republic of Congo. You've then also got Bosnia and Herzegovina, who are back for the first time since 2014 in Brazil, where they played Argentina. But I think the one for me that I'm really excited for, and I hope they do well for this guy's sake, he is a legend of the Socceroos, and that's Graham Arnold. He's the manager of Iraq. They are back for the first time since 1986, a 40-year wait. They qualified through the playoffs. They beat Bolivia, I think, in a pretty good game.
It must have been off the mountain.
Yeah, it was off the mountain. It was in Mexico. They're just seeing the fan reaction of the people that do get to go there. And I know the wider situation with the US with all of the ICE stuff and just the wider political climate in America. Like, I hope that there are fans that still travel and have a really good experience supporting their team, because I think it's worth noting, and I think it's a real celebration. It's what I love about the World Cup. It's a real celebration of the nations that are involved in football. And I hope that they get that experience, because I'm really excited to see, like, the Cape Verde fans and the Curacao fans, and seeing them embrace it. And they might lose all of their games and not score a goal, but they'll always remember their team at the World Cup. So that's one for me that I'm really wrapped for, and can't wait. Um, Listeners, the next segment, the World Cup Rewind. Now, Harry and I have gone over our first World Cup memories and our favourite World Cup of all time. We read out a few of the listeners, others on the show, and this week we're going to read one out on the show. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because it was a comment on our YouTube episode on our last one from Jacob, who's a Brisbane lad, who said, my first World Cup memory was 2018, the Socceroos versus France, as I got into football pretty late. My favourite memory is watching Lecky score the winner against Denmark in a packed pig and whistle in Brisbane at 2 a.m. Hoping that memory gets replaced with a new favourite as I'm going over to the World Cup in America this year. Jacob, passion.
Yeah, that is so much passion.
That is passion, and we hope you are loving and enjoying the show. I loved replying back to you and hearing about your experience, and we would love you to keep us updated on your experience. We'll keep talking about it, because that's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity that we're both.
Jacob, we are all jealous of you.
Yeah, we're so jealous of you. That is an unbelievable. That's going to be unbelievable, and we want to hear as much of that as we can. I thought that really deserved a specific mention on the show, and we hope Jacob has a wonderful time. He could be our Red, White and Roo correspondent live on the ground.
He could be.
Jacob, if you're open to joining the show at any point, we'd be happy to have you to talk about what it's like over there. This one, Harry, this World Cup Rewind is going to be. We've spoken about it a little bit this episode on the when you knew the World Cup was here, but we want to talk specifics. We want to talk a specific memory when you knew the World Cup had arrived, when you knew it was here and you were ready to absolutely throw yourself into every little part of it. It could be a specific goal. It could be being in a watch party at 3 a.m. It could be something where you went, okay, we're here and I'm thriving and I'm enjoying it. Harry, what's yours?
For me, it was when I would have been in grade 8, and I handed in my final assessment for the year, with the 2022 World Cup being at the end of the year, and I just had the absolute license to destroy myself from mum and dad. I think it was like the first 2, 3, or 4 group days that I couldn't watch properly, and then I got my final stuff handed in. They were like, "Oh, go on, destroy yourself, be useless for next month."
That's a great one, and it's that people will know. It's that feeling of freedom of you've just come out of a really hard period, and the world is your oyster. Especially of you, grade 8, you got no responsibilities. You just the only thing I have to worry about
is setting my alarm
to watch the football. That's it. And then the next part is just watching the football, and I can just be an absolute deadbeat. I'll come home from school and have a nap if I need.
Yeah. Or I'll just nap at school.
Mate, that's a great one. And I think one thing that's really good is that it's important to point out that I have my own memories of World Cups when I was in school, and I'm sure heaps of people do as well. It's really nice to get yours live for listeners, because obviously I'm someone who's in the workforce and you're someone who's at school. So it's going to be a really nice yin and yang. I think for me, when I knew the World Cup had arrived, it's an interesting one because there's heaps of different ways you can take it, right? For me, it was always hearing or watching the television intro, the TV intro for the first time. And my personal favorite is the Brazil one, where it's the kid kicking the ball and it goes through all of these animated parts of Brazil and it's got all the stadiums. And it's got the start of it where it's ooh, yeah. Just
enjoy that, listeners. Enjoy that.
Just so good. And, something I want to talk a little bit about in future episodes as we build up to the World Cup is I feel like the World Cup has lost a little bit of its celebration. The celebrating football, the festival of football. And I feel like this time around, it's just become a little bit corporate and disgusting. Like the logo, I hate the logo. The logo has nothing about the host countries in it. It is just a disgrace. I hate it. The other thing is the ticket situation and the price gouging is just so disgusting. And just the Gianni Infantino, some of the comments and some of the stuff he's made, I think there's an argument that Gianni Infantino has actually been worse for the World Cup than what Sepp Blatter was as a FIFA president. Like, at least the World Cups under Sepp Blatter had some form of soul. And
South Africa might have bought it, but goodness me, didn't they buy it well?
Oh, mate, they put it on an absolute festival.
Even
but again,
Qatar.
Like, harps back to
they bought it. And people died building stadiums, which terrible. They should not have deserved it. But the actual World Cup felt good. This World Cup doesn't feel all good.
Well, I think, Harry...
And it's had, like, less genuine controversy than what Qatar had. Like, no one's died to build these stadiums. It's just Donald Trump being the most controversial figure we've seen in a long time. And just...
But not only that,
dividing people.
Them doing just ridiculous things like charging bus tickets like $200 US and just making it like a terrible experience for fans. Like,
yeah.
You're forgetting the fact that, like, you know,
the country's big enough. You don't need to price gouge it more.
No. And I think there's no secret that FIFA in their greed, might be one of the reasons why it is in the US. But I just feel like the last World Cup that properly felt like a festival of football was Brazil in 2014. 2010 had that feeling. Germany had that feeling. Korea had that feeling. I can't speak to the ones before that. I don't know enough about France 98, USA 94. USA 94 actually had from all reports of the people that I've spoken to and the content I've consumed, it had a great feeling. Russia, I had people that went there, like very wide, spread out country, just bizarre, not a great place to travel. Qatar obviously had its own struggles, and I know it's like anything. The football's going to do the talking. The football at this World Cup will be great. The football in Qatar was great. Everything had its moments, same in Russia. But the wider experience of what is bringing football as a fan festival and celebration of the game and growing the game in the US is just not something that's happening. And I think it's really disappointing. And so for me, like, I just hate the whole like corporate nature, and like you can still have that, but you can also still deliver like a creative fan-led, fan-driven experience where it makes things memorable and it sticks with you and you don't end up walking away from it with a sour taste in your mouth or having to do a fucking second mortgage on your house to be able to go. Like, I just think it's wrong. It's ripping fans off, and it's horrible.
Which is something that I think is going to come back in a big way. No matter what happens with US, it looks like the damage has kind of already been done for US, and I don't know how much they can bring it back, because you're not just going to go like, oh, they've reduced the ticket prices. The World Cup starts in 15 days. Yeah, I'm going to travel from Australia.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I think it'll come back in 2030. You've got the like heritage games in Uruguay, Brazil, and somewhere else.
It's Uruguay and Argentina.
Uruguay and Argentina, and then you go back up into Morocco and Spain.
Actually, Harry, I was reading an article today.
I feel like that's going to be such a fun World Cup.
I was reading an article today where, you know how with the World Cup, it's got to go through the continents in a cycle?
Yeah.
So I was reading an article today that was talking about the fact that Qatar hosted the World Cup and Saudi Arabia were jealous and wanted to one-up Qatar and were offering FIFA a gazillion dollars to be able to get it. But for it to go back to Asia so quickly after it was in Qatar, it had to go back through all of the continents again, which is why then Infantino in 2030 ticked off this heritage round of going back, because it meant he ticked off South America. It also meant with Morocco, he ticked off Africa, and then he also ticks off Europe by going through Spain and Portugal, meaning that in 2034, he's done the full cycle in one World Cup, and then obviously 2026, because they've just done North America and CONMEBOL as well, because they've done Mexico. It means he can go back around to Saudi Arabia, and they can host it for $1 bazillion.
Oh, that is a joke.
Disgusting. It's
It'll be a good World Cup, but like we're getting robbed of a European World Cup, we're getting robbed of an African World Cup, we're getting robbed of a genuine South American World Cup.
it's disgusting.
Pino's got to go.
And that whole thing could be its own episode, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that we might do a bit of a deep dive at some point. But Harry, that's actually going to wrap up the episode for this week.
Yep.
The wait is almost over. Squads drop next week. The tournament starts in June, so we can officially say today that the tournament starts next month. And everything we've been building towards all of a sudden is going to be very close. Listeners, please send in your World Cup memories and World Cup wall charts. Don't forget, you can get your World Cup wall chart from 442.com. Just Google World Cup wall chart. We want to see them come out. Next episode, we will have the provisional squads, Harry. They'll be locked in, and we'll be going over every Socceroos call, every name that made it, and the players that didn't, and all the selection debates that are about to take over Australian football. Harry, the calm before the storm. This is what we're in now. Any parting words to the listeners?
Just start waterboarding yourself, because get prepared. Get very much prepared. Get your head around the global football scope. Get around the last few weeks of club football. Start making yourself sound like a genuine football fan in your group chats.
Yeah. And let this be the Bible of knowledge that you need for the World Cup to come. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Red, White and Roo. And to take it away, the best theme song in world football.